Hello my friends and welcome. Katie here with Swix Paper and Ink. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. Today I'm here with a crafty collab with my friends Marla and Alli. Marla's over at Mad About Cards and Crafts and Alli is over at Alli K Creations. In the description box below will be a link to both of their videos, so please, once you're done here, check them out and see what fabulous projects they've created with our collab today. So the collab is with the Greetery and Pinkfresh Studio. Marla reached out to us and asked if we would be interested in doing a mix and match of the Greetery products and Pinkfresh Studios, and we both loved it. We both love those products. We all love those products, so we jumped right on board. So I'm using the Banner and Bows stamp set and the nested background, diamond background stamp set from Pinkfresh Studio. And the inks I've got is Tattered Rose, Victorian Velvet, Aged Mahogany, Evergreen Bough, Pine Needles, Candied Apple, Obsidian Amalgam ink from Gina K, some Gina K embossing ink, and the embossing powder I'm using is Iridescent Sparkle from Judikins. And I've got a card panel 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm showing you my little dry erase eraser that I use on my stamp positioner tools now. I find I get really good results because I tend to push really hard down, especially on sentiment stamps, and the eraser allows me to give even pressure. So for the stamp set from the Greetery, this is the Banner and Bows. Boughs, yeah, because like boughs of holly. And it has a stencil set with it. So you get a banner, you get a floral, you get, and I'm showing you here that they're numbered. I don't know if you can really see that. I'm looking on a tiny little screen, but they're numbered 1 through 4. You really get 5 stencils, and that's the greenery, that is the berries, and then for the 5th one, as a bonus, you get this all over stencil, you know, that covers everything up, so you can ink the background once you've done all your stenciling. They recommend you do it before you stamp this main stamp set, but you don't have to. So moving right along, I've used some repositionable adhesive on the back of the stencils, and I'm just going to go through, and I'm starting with Tattered Rose. That's going to be the banner. Then I'll go into Victorian Velvet, Aged Mahogany, the Evergreen Bough, and then the stamping I'll get into the Pine Needles. And the Candied Apple will be the berries and part of the banner for the more 3D effect. So as many of you know that follow my channel, it's been a while since I've done a video. It's we've had a lot of things happen since we've been home, and I just haven't had a chance to create any videos. We brought my mother-in-law home to our house, and she's doing better physically. Mentally, she's got some hiccups, and we're going to need to take her and get her tested for some possibly early dementia. But she is wanting to go home, so we're going to be taking her back home on Black Friday, even though Matt and I have told her that it's not a good idea that she be on her own, but we're going to test the waters and see how things go. But when we came here, she had 3 cats. We have 4 cats. Yes, you heard that right. There's 7 cats in the house. And she had two kittens. I would say they're probably 7-8 months old. And we have 1 cat, Stewie. He came from us, from the people who live behind us. He just wouldn't leave our house, so we adopted him, and he's an awesome kitty, but he doesn't like other cats very well. He tolerates them, but they're not his favorite. So we had to keep them separate. So the cats, short story, destroyed the carpets in 2 of our bedrooms, so we had to change flooring and replace all the flooring in our bedrooms. And so that's 3 bedrooms. 2 of them I had to paint, and before the flooring got put in, and then we had to have our roof fixed and ceiling and everything in our living room. We had a leak in our roof while we were away. So we had a lot of things going on that needed to be taken care of. So I'm happy to be back. I've missed making videos. I've missed crafting. And I hope you do enjoy this card. So one of the things that I am doing is I'm stamping with distress inks. And many of you may know that stamping with distress inks, you don't get a very good result, regular distress inks. And so what I did was I used some embossing ink over the top of the stencil, or over the top of the stamp. So I inked up my stamp with some embossing ink, and then right over top of that I added my distress ink. So for the pine needles stamp set, I used embossing ink, then right over top I used pine needles, and then the same for the floral. I used some embossing ink, and then I stamped with some, or inked up on top of that with the aged mahogany. And then the sentiment is with the Gina K Obsidian Amalgam ink. And this is fabulous on its own. You don't even need to take it any further. But we're mixing and matching. And so I have these great background stamps from Pinkfresh Studio. And I initially was going to take, I think I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, I was going to take that big stencil, that mask, the stencil mask, I was trying to think of the word, to go over the whole stencil and stamp set there, but there was too many gaps. So I just decided I would ink up the whole background with this diamond nested background stamp, and I'm going to emboss it with the iridescent sparkle. Now, one of the things is with the embossing ink and the distress inks, it gives, you know, obviously embossing ink doesn't dry very quick, so you have the opportunity to put embossing ink on your pine needles as well as your florals, and also give some more depth of color. So as I heat this up, you're going to see them kind of like, you know, deepen and darken the aged mahogany, the pine needles, and everything. And I think it looks fabulous. And it's a perfect way to add some sparkle to your cards without, you know, going overboard with glitter and everything else. And so I'm trimming up the panel to 4 by 5 1/4. And so just taking 1/8 of an inch off of each side to keep everything even and centered. And then I'm going to be layering this on to a piece of black cardstock. And so I've got Gina K's Onyx Black cardstock, and then I've got the white layering cardstock from Gina K. That's going to be my inside panel, and then my card base is going to be the cherry red cardstock from Gina K. Yeah, just make sure it's cherry red. So this is the cherry red, and I'm flexing the cardstock because I normally don't show this on camera, but to test and see which way it bends easier is the way that I score my cardstock. So that's what I was doing there. So here I'm just realizing that I need to trim up my black panel. Again, 1/8 of an inch. I want to have a little bit of a red border from that card base, from the black to the, you know, to the card panel. And so here I'm just taking 1/8 of an inch off, so that would make the card panel 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, in case you're wondering. And so here I'm just adding some liquid glue, and I'm just going to start adding everything together. If you're not familiar with Marla or Alli's channel, I do encourage you to watch their videos. They have some fabulous projects that they do, and great inspiration. So if you're not familiar, check them out. Subscribe. If you've not subscribed to my channel yet, I would love it if you would. Once you do, make sure you select ring the bell and select all notifications, and that way you'll be notified each time I upload a video. I do have another video coming up on Saturday for a celebration hop. Our friend Marie is celebrating her 500 subscriber milestone here on YouTube, and we are having a little hop. So make sure you're subscribed so that you'll get notified and you could be entered into the giveaways that are going to be happening. So there you just saw that I took the banner stencil and added that to the inside of my panel, and I'm just inking up with the Merry Christmas to you and yours for the inside greeting. And now I'm just going to adhere that with some liquid glue, and that's going to finish up the card for me today, guys. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. Sorry it's been a while that I haven't been crafting and uploading videos. I know that for YouTube that's kind of a thing where he's got to upload regularly, but hey, life happens and we got to deal with it. So here you can see that the sparkle, and then when it, in the light, and then when it's not, you get that two-toned effect, and I think it came out wonderful. You could do this, I did the diamonds, but you could do it with any of the background stamps that Pinkfresh has, and I'm excited to use the stamp set in other ways as well, and with other companies' background stamps. So thanks again for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next video.